each stage can be confusing. But with insights and guidance from author experts just like us, you can tackle the writing process competently and be assured that the goal of being a published author is within reach. Welcome to the Caribbean Authorpreneur Summit, the place for Caribbean authors to shine. With each staging of our summit, leading Caribbean author experts at home and in the diaspora share their stories and strategies to win with books beyond book sales. In the process, aspiring and published authors are inspired and lives are transformed. The Caribbean Authorpreneur Summit will ensure that fewer books die in the minds of their authors, more manuscripts become published legacies, and precious lives are transformed with the turn of each page.
Let's welcome C. Ruth Taylor. Her mission is to raise up 10,000 winning Caribbean entrepreneurs by 2030 to ensure fewer books die in the minds of their authors, that more manuscripts become published legacies, and precious lives are transformed with the turn of every page.
Welcome, everybody. It's the final session of the Caribbean Authorpreneur Summit, the fifth staging for 2025. So it's the fifth time we're having it. And as usual, let me know who you are and where you're joining from, because we want this to be an international experience, right? Is this your first session or your second, third, or fourth session for this year? Let me know. You could be winning something if you've been to all sessions, not watch the replay, but if you've attended live. Let me know if you've been at all the live sessions. Ola Yinka is here all the way from Canada. Welcome, and she's the first one to be here. So welcome, welcome, welcome. In our closing session, we are going to be looking at social media marketing for authors, as well as social media marketing, the best strategies to build your author business. Each session has inspiration and information, and then we want you to take action. So we've asked you to take some actions throughout this summit, especially this morning. I asked you to help me to give Raquel Newman a birthday present, to either buy her book, to buy her book or sign up for her program. How many of you bought the book this morning? It can't be that you bought it, 2 years ago, but it's new. Did you buy the book? The other thing is that what the beautiful thing about this summit is that we not only expose you to what's possible, but we provide the tools and the resources, whether persons or website that you can go and implement it. So if you're an aspiring author, we have some great tools for you. Even this evening, we're going to share more about that as we look at what's next. If you're a published author, we also have work. We have tools for you, and you have work to do. Remember, Dave Chesson is giving a bonus if you buy Publisher Rocket to boost your Amazon sales, and especially if you're a publisher or a publisher in the making and you're writing many books as well, this tool is good for you. If you bought Publisher Rocket during the summit, let me know, because you're going to get free access to our book marketing course. Both that and what Dave has taught kind of complement each other, and you will be able to take even more action. Dave taught you a lot about Amazon, but how do you drive traffic to your book and even to Amazon? We covered that in the book marketing secrets course. All right, so we have Camille. Oh gosh, I'm seeing Bishop Dunbar here in the chat. So like I told you this morning that one of our speakers for this evening, Bishop Dunbar, fell ill and she wouldn't be able to attend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a short inspirational clip of her story and her writing journey from an interview that we did from our previous summit, because this would have been like her third time on the summit. And I am so grateful that we've had this summit. Sometimes we do these things, especially as Christians, being bold about that. And it's warfare. This summit almost didn't happen because I was in the hospital a week ago for several days. And I just kept thinking about Bishop, that she's always battled these illnesses, but she don't let it slow her down. So I was scheduled to do an event, a book event in Florida. And I was like, God, can I just come out the hospital and do this? What's going to happen? So I happened to record a video and send it. So I was still able to participate. And today we also have a video for her. So she's still joining, watching, but she won't be here live. But I've been with her from the start of her, before she started writing, and she shared the idea that God was telling her to write her story, to publishing the first book, to launching her academy, to where she's at. And Damarli is going to pick up with part 2. So though she's going to be absent in terms of on the live panel, you're still going to get her story. But before we go further, we have to do a little motivation. We have to prophesy. It's not just a bag of talking, but we're going to take action. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring up our theme song. This is my year. My book is going to do great. Your book, your business, it's going to lead to clients. It's going to change lives. It's going to open many doors. And we are going to declare that. So let's go one final time for this summit. This is my year. My book is going to do great. No one can stop it. So let's go, people. Grab your book and let's go. One final time. Let's declare it. This year is going to be better than you dreamed for your book. Let's go, everybody. Are you ready? And get up and dance if you want.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Come on.
This is my year. This is my year.
My book is
gonna
going
be
to be great. No one can stop me.
No one can stop me.
Come on.
This is my year.
This is my year. My book is going to be great.
You
No one
cannot
can
stop
stop
me.
me.
No one can stop me.
Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. All right. So hopefully that's enough that we don't get a copyright strike. And now we are going to declare it. So we have our pledge in written form. I'm going to bring it up and let's say it together. All right. Hold up your book and let's say it. This is my year. My book's gonna do great. No one can stop it. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. All right. So we declare it and we believe it in Jesus' name. All right. So that's it. You're motivated and ready to go. So we are going to share a little bit of Bishop's story, introduce her. Every segment of the summit is sponsored by a publishing company or school. So the summit is brought to you by the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy, first and foremost. And the Academy is an outgrowth of this book, Authorpreneur Secrets, Write Fast, Publish Cost Effectively, and Generate Lasting Income. The summit is also brought to you by Heart Publishers. Heart Publishers sponsored the segment yesterday, and it was amazing. So give it up for Heart. Send up some file in the chat. And the morning segment today was brought to you by Bamboo Sparks, and that was the email marketing segment. And want to encourage you to go back and watch that video, as well as check the description area. We have put the link to the 2 prizes, the Legacy Builder prize. If you're 50 and over, you can enter the competition to win a publishing deal valued at $3,000 US, So that's, you're going to get the publishing done for free as well as the marketing. There's also the Youth Publishing Prize, valued at $3,000 if you're between 18 and 25. Non-fiction only. So fill out the form and follow the submission requirements, because an easy way to eliminate yourself from the competition is not to follow it. So once you click the Google form, you will see the instructions, and then you email your manuscript to admin@bamboosparks.com. If you're on our mailing list, all of this information will go out on Monday as part of the Summit Toolkit. All right. You're ready. Camille says, I'm ready. All right. Aminata says at Carla Dunbar, she's glad that she's feeling better and able to join us. All right. So let me introduce Rev Bishop. I call her Rev. We've been coming from far, different names. She's now Bishop Dr. Carla Dunbar. Well, let me do the introduction for her, as well as a little promo for CDMI, and then play her testimony, talk a bit about that, and then bring Damarli into the picture. She is Bishop Dunbar's daughter-in-law. So it's a family affair.
Bishop Dr. Carla Dunbar is a renowned Jamaican marriage and family therapist, author, CEO, and founder of Carla Dunbar Ministries International. In 2024, she was the recipient of the President of the United States Lifetime Achievement Award for her work in building marriage and family life. Bishop Dr. Dunbar is an authorpreneur rockstar. Her journey in publishing began in 2014 with the publication of her memoir, Changed: The Journey. Since then, she has published 5 books aimed at strengthening marriage and family. Her combined book sales have exceeded 20,000 books, most of which are sold directly through her speaking engagements, courses in her Grow Your Marriage Academy and Ministry, and several other ministry endeavors. Bishop Dr. Dunbar was a member of Ruth's Authorpreneur Secrets Academy in 2024, which resulted in the adding of CDMI publishing to her business and ministry catalog. Bishop Dr. Dunbar will be sharing in the closing session on Day 2 of the Caribbean Authorpreneur Summit. Let's welcome Bishop Dr. Carla Dunbar to the summit.
At CDMI Publishing, we strike the perfect balance between professional services, like a traditional publisher, and the accessibility of self-publishing. We believe that a book leaves a lasting legacy, and we are passionate about equipping you with the tools you need to create an impactful, reader-focused masterpiece. Whether you're an aspiring author or a seasoned storyteller, CDMI Publishing is your trusted partner in bringing your vision to life. Let us help you write your legacy one page at a time. This Valentine's Day, give the gift of wisdom or a legacy of love. Surprise your special someone with one of these timeless treasures. Wisdom Keys for Families. Discover a godly living guidebook for faith-driven families. From conflict resolution to financial stewardship, Bishop Dr. Carla Dunbar's transformative insights help you to anchor your family in enduring strength and peace. Sexscription, the prescription for sex, a groundbreaking guide to rediscover intimacy and passion in your marriage, backed by biblical wisdom. The Couple's Journal, or Love Legacy. Document your love story with soulful prompts and cherished reflections. A keepsake to nurture your bond for generations. Celebrate love this Valentine's Day. Grab your copies today and make this season unforgettable.
All right, so that's what CDMI Publishing is about, and they're having an event. Bishop normally has very exciting, interesting events, all tied to her passion and her ministry and her purpose of helping family and building families. But how did she start on this journey? To somebody who's been honored and recognized by the United States of America, their government, and she's not even an American citizen. I think she's been to the White House 2 or 3 times. How did a young girl from Jonestown and Portland end up at this point? Remember, we talk about inspiration. So we're going to hear a little bit of our story, because maybe you think that, who am I to write a book? And you have all of those doubts and I can't write a book, I don't know enough. Her story is one that will let you know that whoever you are, whatever your experiences, that you can be used in ways that you never imagined. And so listen to her story and take action after tonight.
You said I read from an experiential perspective. So all my books are me, and so it's good. It's great. It's great. It's a great sense of accomplishment. Coming from where I'm coming from in Raquel, I am a 13-year-old school dropout, I dropped out of school at 13, had 2 children by the time I was 16.
Wow. Whatever of the albino marketer. And so let's get on to the interview.
Good to be here. It's good to be with you this morning. And this is so exciting. It's a wonderful world. I can tell anyone that the Authorpreneur secrets, the academy, everything, awesome, awesome, awesome. You can't afford not to be a part of this. Joking. This is a movement that's going all places, and you have got to be in it to win it, right? So this is great. It's great. And it's awesome to be here. Tell you about my books. Perhaps I should tell you about me, and then the books will follow.
Tell me about you.
I've been living on my own since I was 13, right? And ironically, it's a description and not a prescription. I've been living with my spouse. Well, I was living with my boyfriend then, who is now still my spouse. So we have been together for over 40 years, as you heard. And so I developed a desire to want to help persons for their relationship. Hence the reason I enrolled at the Jamaica Theological Seminary. And my quest continued while I was there, right? Just talking to people about sex and relationship. And whenever they give me a paper to write, it had a little bit of sex in it for my theological papers. And so I closed out that by doing my final paper, looking at the attitudes and perceptions of Christian couples towards sex as worship, right? I thought there was so much ignorance, that people were suffering, marriages were suffering. And so I thought we needed to tap into that. However, the Lord he told me to write my testimony first. And I obeyed the Lord and put my testimony out there first. That is Change the Journey. That book, it's an autobiography. It's a testimony of my death experiences. I clinically died 4 times in 2009. I've been paralyzed twice in my life. I have been mentally ill for over a year. I was blind for over 3 months. So I went through a series of stuff, right? And so I had to talk about the healing power of God, the saving grace of God, when he took me from a dancehall queen and put me in the pulpit. God wanted me to get that out there, because persons who knew me before naturally had to know how the transformation took place. And so that's what happened. And on the 20th of February, while still being sick, I accepted the Lord as my personal savior, as my Lord and my savior. And my life has never been the same since. I can just say that, right? It has evolved, right? And so it is in accepting the Lord, attending seminary, that I came to national attention. I tell you 2 things that happened. While I was attending seminary, there's a course, and Ruth can attest to this course. There's a course taught by the regal Mrs. Blossom White, right? Caribbean Family Life, I think the course was, right? And this was a dreaded course. I think Mrs. Blossom White was a dreaded lecturer. I don't know. But I took that course and I came out of that course with a A. It was shocking to even the seniors who were ahead of me, a year ahead of me. How can you get a A in Mrs. Blossom White class? But that happened. And then, of course, Mrs. Blossom White saw something in me and she approached me. Right, everyone went to C in the course with C. but I came out with an A.
Oh, wow.
And I think this is why I call her my mentor, even though she never formally mentored me. So she saw something in me. One day she just came up to me. First thing she told me to do was to get a group to put a video together for something. And of course I did that. One day she just walked up to me and she said, Carla, I wanted to produce a program. I didn't even know what the word produce meant. Honestly, I went to seminary at Duns because I heard the word psychology for the first time in my life. I didn't know that something named psychology. I went there to become a guidance counselor. That's it. Right. And so I heard some words, I never heard them before. And so I had to keep a vocabulary book, by the way, to write these words. I heard the word Sigmund Freud and thought it was a war happening in the Middle East because the rabbi used to come to seminary to chapel and talk about this war happening in the 1040 window. So I just thought.
That is just a little bit of her story, but it should be enough to inspire you to turn your story into a book. It should inspire you. Were you a 13-year-old school dropout? So she dropped out of school at 13, had children. By the time I think she was 16, she had 2 children. And then she went back to school in her 30s, became a guidance counselor. By 20, I met her in 2001 while we were both students at the Jamaica Theological Seminary. And she just stood out, and she had a way of bringing people together. And in terms of ministry, I remember when she was in the pastorate in Portland, her first pastorate, and I would go down and teach, travel from Kingston to Portland. And I remember one day we were walking, I think she was walking either to the bus stop or we were going to church. And she said, you know, the Lord said I need to write a book and write my story. And thereafter, her daughter, Kenisha Dunbar, just ran with it. And the book marketing was, up from then. They did the cover of the book and started promoting and say a book is coming. And I was privileged to be part of her book launch team, and she launched the book with a conference. She invited media. She had this media personality, Susan, was there. And so she had a conference and a book launch, a paid conference and a book launch. So it wasn't just the book launch. And that book also opened more doors, more speaking engagement, because now she gets to share her story. So if we were looking for a model in terms of entrepreneurship and how a book can lead to ministry, Reverend Dunbar, Bishop Carla Dunbar, is truly the role model in that. If you're looking for inspiration, when I was hospitalized, I was saying, you know what? I just kept thinking about her, how she was paralyzed. You heard that. And I'm like, if I am paralyzed, at least I can still use my brain and my voice to do my work. And I've always said I wanted that attitude because she has never allowed illness or anything to stop her from doing the Lord's work. And so tonight, Bishop, in your absence, I want to salute you for being an Authorpreneur rock star. I want to thank you as well for giving me the privilege of being part of your journey. Even in birthing the Grow Your Marriage Academy and ministry, again, you allowed me to play a part in that. And now, even in launching your publishing company, CDMI Publishing, to play a role in that. And so your story is one that inspires. And if you want to know more about Bishop and her story, you can go to Carla Dunbar Ministries. Let me bring that up. I think it's on the screen, carladunbarministries.org. You can book her. Let me bring that up so that you can see the website. And she has just been unique. You know, outside of working as a pastor, everything that she has created, ideas, is around her books and events, and she's been able to generate sustainable income and just seeking the face of God. Prayer is a part of everything she does. And sometimes she come up with these amazing ideas, and you know they're just coming straight from the throne room of God. And so, Bishop, we just want to salute you. Keep on doing what you are doing. Keep inspiring. And I want you to go out and get her book. So here's just a quick view of her website, carladunbarministries.org. And that's a picture of Bishop and her husband. And see the gym there, because you want to keep your relationship and marriage fit. So that's a play on it. And it's Grow Your Marriage Ministry. And they have branches. They have a branch in Atlanta, and of course the branch in Jamaica. It's about the spiritual development of the entire family. And look at all the spin-offs or different ministries, and the book plays a major part in that. So you have CDMI Publishing, Grow Your Marriage Ministry, Families, Deborah's Courtyard. She's always coming up with these innovative ways to be seen, be heard, so that people can benefit from what she's doing. So she's Jamaica's leading family, marriage, and sex therapist. And having a website is also another way to ensure that if social media platforms act up or get shut down, you have a home. So as an author, if you don't have a website, you might think it's optional, but this is another piece of real estate that you own. These are some of her books. The Couples Journal, Damarli published that last year. And the Wisdom Keys for Family was published last year. And Sexscription, the year before, was republished. And they're all in the CDMI imprint, as well as Freelance Superstars. So that concludes the inspirational segment with Bishop Dr. Carla Dunbar. I'm her mouthpiece tonight. So she's still getting to share in it. If her story shared has inspired you, let me know. Send up some fire, some hearts. I hear people saying, Aminata says, she's truly an inspiration. Yes. Activate Core says, wonderful initiative. Camille says, inspired. So you see the beauty of technology. Even in your absence, things can be happening. All right. And Bishop herself says, may I get a copy of the interview, please? Hearing myself is even inspiring me post-stroke. So she's telling you what happened to her. She had a stroke a few days ago. We want to thank God that her faculties are still in order despite that. All right. And now we're going to invite Bishop's protege and their digital marketing person to the fore. And I'm going to introduce, we need the young people to partner with us, She's from, our next speaker is from the generation that really understands social media more than my generation. And so we are happy to partner with the young and our senior persons. And it's a good synergy because it's about legacy. So you want the youth, you want intergenerational partnerships. And that's what is happening tonight. So let me introduce Damarli. And then the next voice you hear will be hers.
Damarli Dunbar is a Jamaican freelancing expert, digital marketing specialist, Amazon best-selling author, book publisher, and founder of Freelance Superstars. Since 2020, Damarli has successfully built a career as a top-rated plus Upwork freelancer, experiencing the benefits of location freedom and financial independence. Damarli is passionate about empowering others to break free from the traditional 9-to-5 grind and achieve success on their own terms. Her book, Freelance Superstars, is a practical and inspiring guide for building a thriving freelance business, even with limited time and experience. Damarli was certified as a publishing coach after joining Ruth's Authorpreneur Secrets Academy in 2024. She is the chief publisher at CDMI Publishing and also a lead digital marketer at CDMI. On day 2, at the closing session, Damarli will be sharing her story and actionable tips to successfully market your book and author business on social media. Let's welcome Damarli to the summit.
Hi, thank you so much for the warm welcome. It's good to be here. It's good to be here. I mean, I'm just thinking about it that literally last year, this time, I was on the other side of this conversation. I was in the audience listening to someone else doing a whole entire presentation. And look at me now, like, it's amazing. It's completely amazing. I have a small PowerPoint that I want to share for my presentation as well. Because you know me, I love the graphics and the extraness, the pretty stuff. Our generation is all about that. So let me bring that up. Give me a second. Presenter view. Oh, window. Here we go. Let me get this out the way. All right, let me know when you're able to see my screen. Are you able to see?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Great. All right. So good night again. Good night, everyone. My name is Damarli Dunbar, and I am the operations manager at Carla Dunbar Ministries International. I also lead out the digital marketing team. Once upon a time, it was only me, but you know, as you grow and you expand, you also have to onboard help, right? That is something that I am a firm believer of, that in order to scale, you need people by your side who are competent and can catch the vision and run with it. And you need to be able to articulate your vision as well, so that the persons who are running with you are running the same race and on the same track, right? All right. So I am going to speak a little bit about how you use social media to market your book and business. And in between, I'll mention a little bit about my story. I want to give you a lot of, nuggets. So I'm going to try to get through the information in the most, efficient time possible. All right. So everybody's still with me? If everybody's still with me, drop some hearts in the comments, right? And then I'm gonna get into it. Some hearts. Waiting for some hearts. All right. So it's my honor to sit before you. Such a dynamic group of persons, people who are hungry, because last year I was just like you. I was hungry for a change. I was hungry to, tap into something different, a new industry, a new area of expertise where I could, employ my skills, because I have a lot of different skills. And once it is that I put my mind to something, I know I can achieve it. So last year, just like you, I was a part of the Authorpreneur Summit. And this year, I'm on the other side as a speaker. So I hope everybody else on the other side is hungry. If you're hungry for, the gems and how it is that you can launch this year, not next year, your book business, and your profitable, your story, package it in a profitable way where you can share it globally. Say hungry in the chat. So I'm waiting for that. Hungry. All right. All right. All right. All right. So let's get into it. So how is it that we do this social media thing? How do we market ourselves on social media? How do we, where do we even start, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is branding, right? Social media is a place where you tell your story. And branding is a big part of that. Branding increases your visibility online and offline, right? It enhances your influence, right? And influence opens the door to options. And whether you build your own table or you're invited to sit at someone else's table, those options bear fruits of opportunity. And those opportunities can be endless increased flexibility, stability, the ability to engage in interesting tasks, and even unlock new streams of income. Right? So let me give you a little glimpse into, my journey. In 2024, I was juggling new motherhood, the journey of new motherhood, university, and a burning desire for a fulfilling life, right? In addition to the fact that, you needed to make money now, girl, because, you have responsibilities, right? So doing some introspection into how it is that I would like to work and these newfound responsibilities and just my personality, I was exposed to online freelancing because I needed a way to juggle school and taking care of baby and still making money. And the only thing that kind of overlapped with all of these circles, different sectors, was finding a way how I could work online. It wasn't easy because it took me a while to figure it out. But through persistence, I built a thriving business, earning over $50,000, 50,000 US dollars part-time, because there were periods where I worked full-time, but for the majority, I worked part-time. So I was able to work multiple projects at some intervals if it is that I was going for that, right? And that experience years later inspired the publication of my book, which is now published, called Freelance Superstars, the best-selling book, right? Yes. So that created an opportunity, and even now it's still opening doors, has opened doors, and is still opening doors. The doors that it has opened has opened up my eyes to things that I didn't even have, that I know I need to have. Like, I'm actively working on my like my speaker package and my speaker kit, because I'm going into some institutions and I need to be able to give them a kit of what it is that I offer and who I am and all of that information. So things like that, that I never thought I would have needed before. No, it has opened doors where you need to step up, because this is something that's needed now, because you're stepping into a new dimension, a new realm, a new endless world of opportunities. All right. So moving back to social media, how is it that we utilize this? How is it that we get started? How is it that we leverage it for our book or branding? Because before somebody even thinks about your book, they first hear about you. What is it about your story that, inspires them to want to pick up your book? What's different between you and somebody else who has written a similar book? You understand? Right? Because a lot of the times we think that people buy the book. People don't necessarily always buy the book, right? It's a part of it, but people buy the story behind the book. And you, my friends, are the story behind the book, right? So here is the key, right? It's not about, the work that I did, really. It's not about really, oh, this is a freelancing book, or, even for your book, whatever type of book it is. It's not really the book. It was the story shared behind the book and how others could relate to that story. How it is that they saw themselves in my story, in their current situation. Your story, like mine, is not boring. Get it out of your head. Your story isn't boring. And it's not entirely unique to you. Your story isn't unique to you. And that is what makes it so powerful. Your story isn't unique to you, and your story is not boring. That's what makes it so powerful. There is another you out there that has experienced similar trials today, probably tomorrow, probably the next week, probably a few years down the line,
who will await or are waiting to be inspired by your journey and how you made it through that season in your life. Right? They're probably in your own backyard, probably in your own house. They're probably across the country. They're probably across a couple of borders or continents or some seas. But there's another you out there that is looking at your story and the journey you've been through, and they are trying to see how someone made it through a similar situation, and thus they can also make it through. Right? Right. Everybody's with me? If you're with me, drop some more hearts in the comments, right? If you're still with me. And this is where the power of digital marketing comes in. Because how do we get our story out? How do we connect with people? How do we, reach the masses to say, this is my testimony? Because your book is literally, in some way, shape, or format, a testimony of either your knowledge, your experience, what you've been through, etc., 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 right? You're standing from a point of experience or a point of, this is what I've been through. So if I've done it and I was able to come out of it, you can too. So social media is a great equalizer. What does that mean? Social media has leveled the playing field. Once you have internet access, you have a chance. It's free to enter and free to play. As the Bible reminds us in Revelation, we triumph over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. And our testimony is not necessarily always for us. Sometimes it's for other persons. Because when you write, a paper, an essay, or you write your book, let me just say your book, whether it is a non-fiction, your story is written, it's to inspire someone. Yes, you benefit from having written that story, but who is going to consume the story, right? Who is going to be the person reading the story must have some benefit to them. What are you intending for the reader to gain having read your story? You're sharing your testimony, and there's a desired outcome out of sharing your story with that reader. Am I right or am I wrong? Or am I right? Am I right or am I right? I'm right? So social media is your stage. It's your tool. It's your raw material to connect authentically. People want to feel seen, right? They want to feel like somebody gets what I'm going through. And when you tell your story with vulnerability and with courage, they see themselves in you. They see themselves in your story. They see themselves in the pages of your book and how it is that your book can help them. And this is whether it is fiction, non-fiction, etc., right? So let's address a common fear. Because when it comes to social media, a lot of persons are like, they don't think they can do it because I'm not creative enough. They look at all of the flashing lights and fandangles on social media and they think, if I'm not able to replicate what they're doing, then I don't think I'm going to have any reach or impact. But that's not true. Remember what I said earlier is that your story is not unique to you. And there's another you that is waiting to feel seen and to see how it is that you got through a particular situation through the pages or lenses of your book so that they can get to the other side, right? So, I'm not creative enough. That's simply not true. Genesis 1 verse 27 tells us that we were made in God's image. And that's the first thing that the Bible tells us. And what's the first thing, that the Bible tells us about God, right? Because in Genesis 1:27, it tells us that we were made in the image of God. And what's the first thing that the Bible tells us about God? In the beginning, God created. So if God created, and I'm just saying this because I have to bring the Bible in it because I'm a Christian, right? So bear with me for a minute, right? The first thing that the Bible tells us about the person who manufactured us is that he is a creator. So if I'm made in his image, am I not a creator as well? I'm just saying 1 + 1 must equal 2. So I must be creative, right? So it's not that you're not creative, right? Myron Golden says something that I love, that we were created to create stuff and made to make stuff and made to make stuff, right? So we were created to create stuff and we were made to make stuff. So we must create and we must make, right? So shift your mindset from I can to I will, and you will unlock endless possibilities. So how do we harness this power of the social media, digital marketing, etc., etc.? Here are some actionable steps drawing from my own experience and from the experience of others who I've been able to, speak with, learn from, and work with, how it is that you can get started. Start with what you have. A lot of people overlook this simple thing. You have to start with what you have. You don't need to have a big budget. And I think I said this in our last interview, Coach Ruth. You don't have to have a big budget. I started with free social media tools when I was starting off with Bishop, with, getting her content out and growing her pages. And we built from there. So start where you are. Right? I'm going to go through some tools that are free or low in cost a little bit later. Next, strategic content creation. Repurpose content. If it is that you are a person who already has some form of content, like for Coach Ruth, she has some content from the various summits. She also has contents from podcasts that she's done, etc., etc. Turn those webinars, those interviews, etc., into bite-sized social media posts, right? People want something quick that's bite-sized, that can get them pumping, get them motivated, get them ready to go. This will help to maximize your effort by chopping up your longer form content, which would be your webinars or your vlogs or anything like that you would have any interviews that you have done in the past, or that you will be doing in the future. Cut it up into bite-sized pieces and repost it on social media, right? This maximizes, as I said, your efficiency in getting more content out. Use tools like Google Trends, Answer the Public to understand your audience needs. And these are software that, compile the various search terms that are used over the internet in various industries and on various websites. And they collate all of that information and give you a condensed bite-sized overview, or I should say condensed overview as to what it is that most persons are searching for in regards to a particular phrase, topic, or within a certain country, right? And then they can help you to, expand from a single word into phrases, so that you can then map out your content in a way that relates more to what persons are looking at. What are they searching for? What are they asking? What are the things that they are looking to get? What are the unanswered questions that they have? That is what you need to tap into. Once you're able to, based on your industry and whatever it is that you are promoting, or the topic that you're doing your content on, what it is that your book is about. For instance, for me, it's freelancing. I go to Answer the Public. I start off with freelancing pricing, right? And then I can see now around the phrase freelance pricing, what are the the longer keywords or key phrases that persons are looking at, right? For instance, they may say how to price for freelancers, freelance pricing for newbies, freelance pricing for experts, and then you will have a general idea of how much persons are looking at this particular phrase that have a market that needs to be tapped into because their questions are either unanswered, not sufficiently answered, or there is a large demand for answers around that topic, right? Because even though somebody answers a question, when someone else answers that same question, a person may be able to more readily relate to the second individual than the first individual, because we all explain differently, and based on how it is that we explain certain concepts and terms and different ideas, persons may be more easily maybe more the word is eluding me. Persons may be able to more easily understand based on how it is that you provide it in examples or elaborate on that answer. They may be able to more relate to you versus the person who would have answered it initially. I may not be able to relate to them, but I'm able to relate to you. So I get the concept easier or more readily when you explain it. So it doesn't matter if someone else talked about a topic or gave a video or a response on it before, your response or your explanation may bring forth something that they never, ring a bell that wasn't rung before. They may be like, oh, no, I get that. That's what they were saying. Right? All right. So other ways how you can create strategic content is you can do days in your life or a day in the life, story time. So whenever it is that you create your book, you can do a story time around your book. For the persons who have romance novels, etc. For the persons who have like books that are more, strategic, they go through strategies. They're nonfiction, they're educational books. You can do tutorials or show and tells from that. For persons who have more motivational books, you can do quotes or nuggets from your book to inspire persons. You can also utilize testimonials from other readers to promote your book. You can do voiceover clips of your book, so you can read a snippet or a section or a chapter from your book and do that voiceover, post that voiceover. You can do polls to see how it is that, for instance, you have a segment from your book. It's a romance novel. In this segment, Mary was so upset that she decided that she doesn't think she can go on. She's considering to tell Paul that I don't know if it's gonna work. How do you think Mary should handle the situation? You give some glimpses into the story and let people form their own ending of it. Yet, because people love those things, people like to, guess what's going to happen next. They want to be a part of the story. And we see that on social media in various different ways where you will get a snippet. Like, for instance, the new reel softwares that they have now where they give you like a piece of it and then they give you the very juicy and then you have to pay to get more of it. You people love to know what's gonna happen next, and they want to foretell what is going to happen in the story next. So you can utilize posts to do that. And then you can also utilize posts for your nonfiction book to get persons' response on various topics, etc. Right? What do you love? What do you want to hear in our next books? For persons who are writing series like romance series, what would you like to hear next in volume 3? Things like that. You get a greater insight into your audience, and sometimes this can help you to better write your next books by getting information in this way, right? Next, we're gonna say This was the examples given. Next, we're gonna look at building community, right? So social media is a place where it's the main idea around social media now, because this wasn't it before, but what majority of the social media platforms are pushing now is community and relevancy to the person who is the end user, right? So what may be relevant for me on my social media feed is not going to be what is really relevant for you, right? So everybody's Explorer page and For You page looks a little bit different, right? Because they're all about community and ensuring that you are seeing what you want to see, what's relevant for you. So how is it that you can continue to build community? Engage in relevant online communities. Like LinkedIn has a lot of groups. Don't sleep on LinkedIn. Facebook groups as well. You have a Facebook group for literally everything. You have a Facebook group for knitting, sewing, romance lovers, slime makers, as in, like, the things that kids play with, like slime, for sad stories, for motivational stories, for persons who love nonfiction. You can just search upon Facebook whatever it is that you are writing a book about, like for instance freelancing, and you will see a ton of Facebook groups pop up that are relevant to that particular industry niche topic, right? Also, other places that you can look is Quora and Reddit. They always have entries by individuals, and these are real people who are either telling stories or asking questions. You can get a lot of information there, and you can build on your community from those online spaces. Consistent presence. Show up regularly. Consistency builds trust and recognition. If I see you today and I don't see you until 3 months later, I have already forgotten you. Sometimes if I see you today and I don't see you tomorrow, because it's the first time meeting you, I'm probably going to forget you, because there's so much that is happening around us. We are so bombarded by information that if it is that you're not consistently showing up, the possibility of you getting lost in the sauce of everything else that is happening online is greater, right? So show up consistently, build trust and recognition. What happens beyond the book? Embrace your full identity. Don't just post about the book, because as I said earlier, before a lot of people even buy your book, they buy into the story around your book. And who is the story around? You, right? So you don't have to limit yourself to just posting about the book. I think a lot of persons get so contained in this box, this very small box, that I have a book. No, the only thing that I can post about is my book. No, we actually want to see the real person behind the book, your interest, your passion. Those things allow us to move from where I'm just knowing you because I have seen your book or I've heard about you, to now I'm invested in your story and I want to know a bit about you, and your book or these books give me an insight into your mind, how you think, your story, etc., 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 right? You are the face behind the brand and your book is a part of your story. So don't go beyond the book. Embrace your full identity, because even when you go out into a space, your book is not the one that is presenting. You are the one who is presenting. So beyond the book, embrace your full identity. Innovative promotion examples. I gave a few earlier when I mentioned some of the ideas that you could use for innovative content creation, but ways that you could promote your book. Coach Ruth gave us an example the last time when we did the podcast. Bookspiration, that is something that she does, and that's where she takes out a quote from her books, because she does a lot of self-help books, motivational books, real life example books, and then nonfiction books, how it is that you can move from point A to point B. So she's able to extract quotes or meaningful excerpts from these books in order to empower persons, and she calls it bookspirations. And these are like golden nuggets that people can look to in order to, navigate daily life or navigate various situations that they are faced in, right? And this is a great way to promote your book, because she's also going to say it's an excerpt from this book, and that in itself is a way within which she promotes her book. Another one is we can consider Bishop Dr. Carla Dunbar. She uses her books to support her conferences and expand her reach. And we had spoken about this on the podcast the last time, where in order to, gain more relevancy on social media, what we did is we utilized a series, and that's one of the strategies that I mentioned earlier. So we created a series, and the idea around, why people or social media started integrating series, I think explains it itself. But have you ever realized that when you start watching a show on Netflix or on YouTube and you love it, you binge watch the show? And when it comes to social media, because the information is so short and bite-sized, a lot of the time what happens is persons end up binge watching one reel after another reel after another reel after another social media post after another, because they're consuming the information and it's so interesting to them that they continue. So they're actually binge watching your content. So in order for us to have enough content for persons to, want to binge watch now and they learn more about Dr. Dunbar and what it is that, she promotes, and how it is that she, thinks, how it is that she operates, the ministry that she has, how it is that her outlook on marriage and family, how to navigate different situations, we had to create a series. And the series that we created was Love Online. And then what we did, we utilized the long form content. Remember, we spoke about that before. We utilized the long form content, cut it up into smaller short form content so that we could repost that, because we have Love Online episodes that we did 2 years ago that we still have content from even today that we repost. And when it is that we repost this content, it's still relevant because it's still things that persons struggle with. Because when we pick the topics for Love Online, we look at, one, what is relevant in the world today? What are people talking about? Two, what are some of the issues that we see continuously coming up in our comment section and online regarding marriage, relationship, and family? And three, obviously, I'm going to utilize the tools that I mentioned to you. We utilize Google Trends. We utilize Answer the Public. And we get information on what are some of the topics that persons are asking for. And then what are some of the phrases around these topics that persons are struggling with, or that there is high search volume for, which means a lot of persons are searching for this phrase, that we can now look at and say, all right, we've been seeing some persons asking about this. We think that this would be a very relevant topic for this time. Let's do an episode on that, right? And then because it is that we're doing such small snippets, we're doing 30 seconds, 1 minute, and our series are like a 30-minute, 20-minute, long episode. We have content for this, so we have a large catalog. So if Bishop even needs to rest, we're not out of content. And it's the same with you. You do so much on an everyday basis. A lot of you've been interviewed. You are always on social media. Probably you've been doing some podcasts, different things. Why not cut up that content and then turn that content into social media posts that you can then utilize to gain eyes and traction around your brand, around your book, around who it is that you are? Because even beyond the book that you publish today, if you publish a book tomorrow, it's not the promotion that you did on the book before that's gonna sell the new book. If you build excitement around your brand and who you are, people will buy into whatever it is that you bring to the market, if it is that they know, like, trust, and love you. So that's why I said go beyond just the book. Look at you as a whole, your brand, because your brand is a part of your story. All right. So continuing, content is king. Social media is a powerful free tool to amplify your reach. Whether you're an author, a coach, or an entrepreneur, there is a place for you online if you're willing to adapt and learn, right? Social media is such a, I know it can be scary, because sometimes you can get questions that you're not really willing, able, or want to answer at any given point. But look beyond that, because there's so much that you can gain versus the hurdles that you may face, because everything comes with its own hurdles in life. But the gain from it is so great. And people have been tapping into social media in such a grand way that we are missing out on one of the greatest opportunities of a lifetime to scale quickly. Some of the tools that I wanted to mention that you can use to get started, and you can write these down. Canva has a free subscription that you can use. Very good. Chef's Kiss. CapCut. When it is that you have your longer form videos and you want to cut it up, use CapCut. CapCut is free and it's available to the persons in, Jamaica. I know that they had like a TikTok ban, but I think it was lifted. So you have access to CapCut again. Google Drive is also another free tool that is very important. This is going to be where you host all of your snippets that you have cut up, and you can hold them in this space to post later. You can use this to store all of your ideas, because Google Drive is where you can utilize Google Docs. You can create folders for your different types of content, etc. This is a place where you can hold all of your content ideas. You can go back to the files, see what it is that you've done, what you haven't done. This is just a free version, the freest version that I can think of. Once it is that you're under a certain storage amount that you can use to get started, to store all of your content, and you can utilize the different tools such as like Google Docs to, document all of the ideas and, mark off your progress as you go. If you've done an idea already, you tick it off and you go to the next one, etc., etc. Google Collaborate is also another software that I use when I have long videos that I need like the transcription for. If it is that I want to repurpose my content, sometimes I will take the transcript from one video. I may go to a AI tool like ChatGPT or Gemini, and Gemini is spelled the way that you think it is spelled. It's Gemini. I may go to any of one of those AI tools and I may say, rephrase this particular statement so that give me a creative hook or give me a solid hook. Give me 10 hooks that I can use for my short form content from this transcript. Other tools is like Opus Clips. This is a paid tool. This will automatically cut up your videos for you based on how it is that it ranks viral clips. AppSumo is also another tool. AppSumo Socialmonials. This is one of the the best price social media softwares, as in social media scheduling software, because some people, what they have the issue with is that they say that they don't have the time. You can use a social media scheduler to schedule out your content, make it in batch beforehand. So when you're doing your videos, cut up 5 videos, schedule out the 5 of them for probably 2 per week, and you have at least 3 weeks worth of content, right? So not having time is not really an excuse anymore, because you have so much tools that are at your disposal to help you. Notion is something that I use because I use it for note taking, but it requires a internet connection. So sometimes I don't like it. I use my regular notepad on my Samsung phone to just, if I have an idea about something, I write it down same time, and then I will convert it or bring it over into my ideas document in my Google Drive. And then another software that I use is Utils. I may have to drop the link for that in the chat at some point for Coach Ruth to share. this is where, if it is that I didn't get if I'm doing a video, because I also do YouTube from time to time, if I didn't get to do a picture for my thumbnail, I upload the video to Utils, and Utils will automatically generate a thumbnail picture for me. So I don't have to worry about that, because sometimes that is even a hindrance to persons just putting their content out there. And last but not least, I know that there are a lot of others. The Bible is always my inspiration for a lot of things. Yeah. So those are some of my tools, right? And I just want to re-emphasize that the world is your oyster, and you can tap into social media if you're serious. Don't jump in and jump out, because it will only make your journey that much harder, because it's almost like you build up momentum and then you draw back, and then you build up momentum and you draw back, and the drawback is not with an intention to launch you further. The drawback actually puts you 2 to 3 steps back with no momentum for you to launch forward. So if it is that you're gonna do it, take it serious. And as I said, social media is one of those things, the internet overall, that has created such a opportunity of a lifetime to level up the playing field, to make people who were poor rich. Sometimes it can be the opposite, where it makes people who are rich poor, but it's been able to make so many multi-millionaires in our generation that it is ridiculous, through just content. And this is where it came, the persons, came up with the phrase content is king, right? Because it's been able to become a solid thing for persons to make a living, and I mean make a good living. As I said, whether it is that they build their own table, which means they create their own products, services, etc., their own platform, or they're invited to sit at someone else's table, which means that they leverage someone else's platform. And, for instance, I'm sitting at somebody else's table right now, and social media and my book opened me up to, this possibility. I'm now able to come on Coach Ruth's platform to talk about social media, one of my skills that I'm gifted in, talk about my book, talk about the ministry, etc. It opens up doors. So tap into social media. And whilst it is that you're thinking about your content and how it is that you can leverage social media, think about your audience. How does your book make them feel? What transformations have they experienced because of your words? What transformations do you expect for them, or outcomes do you expect for them having read your book? What stories are they sharing after they have read the book? And again, people don't buy books, they buy outcomes, emotions, and stories. What is the story that you're telling? What is the story that you're selling? And how are you getting your story out? That's it from me. I think I will wrap up here and take questions, Q&As. But before I go, show up, share your story, engage authentically. Your book is more than your words on a page. It's a vessel of transformation, and social media amplifies that transformation. And that's it for my presentation.
Drop some fire in the chat if you got nuggets from that, if you got gems from that, if you think she did a fabulous job. Drop some hearts, some fire, show some love in the chat. I told you, this thing is the playground of her generation. We even have like 2-year-olds now that the 1-year-old take up the phone and they instantly know what to do. This is their generation. It's not going anywhere. And Damarli, you did a fabulous job. I think so. Let's hear what the audience has to say and go through the comments and the questions. So Kayla says, wonderful. Daphne is showing a lot of fire. Let me see. Tesaro is saying vessel of transformation. Aminata says wonderful tips. Is that coming up or there's a delay? There's fabulous. Okay.
Yes.
Bishop is so proud of you. She said, very awesome,
Thank you. Thank
Damarli.
you, everyone.
And we have some experienced persons here. I like the tools that you shared. I jotted down some of them. Here they are. Free
Yes,
tools.
yes.
Guys, this is the last segment. It's usually it's longer than all the others, but put your comments and questions in the chat. And I have learned about some new tools. Project U says dropping gems. I didn't know a lot about these. What's your takeaway from Damarli's presentation? There were so many, but for me, the emphasis that it's not about the book, it's about you. And there's another you out there who is waiting to benefit from your story.
Mhm.
That is just transformative. Susan says her thing is use social media creatively and consistently can lead to like, know, trust, love.
Mhm.
Aminata says she loves Canva. And so I'm seeing a lot of comments, no questions yet. So I'm just running it until Damarli, what about again I come back to there are different kinds of authors. There has been a thing in publishing, maybe in the for years in publishing, the publisher would buy your book and they would put a marketing plan in place and execute it. But right now, both traditional publishers and we who offer independent publishing service, many times that service is going away. So the author has to be a part of the process. I've come across authors over and over that don't want to do any marketing. So, or they're introverts, they don't business about the social media thing. Or I work with a lot of authors who are 40 and over. That's my audience primarily. What advice do you have for them? Because it's a serious struggle. The technology it keeps changing. They just can't bother with it. And there's just a general author mindset that seemed to be against marketing. It's not a Caribbean thing. It's not a Jamaican thing. It seemed to like come with the territory. So what can you suggest, recommend to help authors to better embrace marketing or do better with it? Talk to us, because a lot of what you share this evening involves the author. What if the author doesn't want to get involved?
Okay. So a couple of things came to my mind. I'm trying to remember all of the questions in sequence.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I think a lot of publishers are kind of shying away from trying to push your brand, because a lot of the times what has happened is you have publishers in past who would try to create a persona that wasn't necessarily you. So it wasn't authentic, and it will come to a point where the author would either burn out and no longer want to play the role of what it is that you have created as this persona, which is not necessarily, uniquely them. It's what they think will sell, right? And sometimes it makes you not like the process, because I've seen where sometimes people just stop writing because of the whole marketing part of it. But don't look at it like it's a chore. It's necessary. Think of it just like a fun project. I'm trying to put it in a way where it doesn't seem daunting. I think we think so much about what people are going to say. And I remember once I was, speaking with someone, and they say a lot of the times we don't post about the things that we're doing because we are so hesitant to what it is that the people who we know are going to say, how they're going to perceive what we're doing, their reactions to it, etc., etc. And somebody suggested probably you just need to do like a new page. Don't add any of your families and people like that to it, that you think are going to judge you, and just post the content. Like, just try to get over the hurdle of the fear of what people may think. The fear of what people may think holds so much people back that it takes away from the glory that God can get through your story. We have magnified the thoughts of God over the mission, the thoughts of man over the mission of God so much that we cower and don't push out our own stories, right? Everybody is unique, so I don't know if I can give a one tip for everybody to utilize in order for them to say, all right, I'm gonna go on social media, and I'm gonna do this thing now, and I'm gonna get over the hurdle. But just consider it for a moment. You have invested so much time and effort into this, right? If it is that you buy somebody who you love a mango, and you put it somewhere, generally they're not looking for this mango, but you really want them to get the mango. Days go by and the mango stays there until it spoils because you just didn't share the information. Share your information so that the people who can benefit from the thing that you have delivered or wrapped in this beautiful package, which is a book for them, can benefit from it. Or else it's just gonna stay there on a shelf until it spoils. Well, as I heard yesterday, a book doesn't die. You just stop marketing the book, because a book can't die. It's there forever and ever and ever. Amen. Is that truth? Coach Ruth?
Yes,
It's
and
there.
you can make the copyright for like us in the Caribbean, like for Jamaica, is 95 years after death that your family can continue to earn from it. All right, so here is the question, perhaps better asked. How do you address authors who want to be active on social media but are not comfortable sharing too much of themselves, that is their personal stories? How do you answer that?
Oh, okay. All right. I can answer that one straight. So you can do faceless marketing. A lot of persons have done this in very creative ways, where they have done voiceovers, because remember, that was one of the creative strategies that I mentioned. You can do voiceovers or voice excerpts and use pictures that relate to the story. For instance, persons who are writing a romance novel, you can, there are AI tools now that you can use to generate images that look pretty close to what would be in your head, right? Or you can go online and find royalty-free images, which means those are images that you can use without getting a copyright infringement. And that's royalty-free images. You can put them together with your voiceover, and you can post that content. They call it faceless marketing. So they're not going to see the face behind the brand, but you will post content. So you will post your quotes and your excerpts. You will post, like, have you ever, just different creative, types of content. You can do the audio voiceover, and you can build up excitement around your brand without even showing your face. You don't have to show your face. It's just with certain, books. If you're writing a life story, you have to show it, because your story is about you and your face is included in that story. So it depends on the type of book. So for instance, if it's romance or sci-fi fiction, you can even use, I've seen where some TikTokers, like, they do the voiceover and then they'll have like gameplay playing in the background, but the voiceover is actually from the book. So you're promoting the book. You have like a Minecraft or like one of those fun games, Roblox gameplay or something of that sort. And, like, you're reading the story, like a juicy part. And, you can say the excerpt is from this book. You can get it from Amazon. Those are creative ways that you can promote your book. Outside of, getting pictures that are relevant to the story, putting it together and posting it. And then, like, just drawing excerpts and quotes from your book. I know a girl in Jamaica who launched a poetry book, and she posts an excerpt from her poetry book every single day. Just one line or two lines, and that has helped to promote her book, and it's great marketing.
Awesome sauce. All right, Suzanne is asking, so how do you know how much time and energy to spend marketing with social media? What worked best in your marketing for Freelance Superstars book? That's two questions.
Mm-hmm. So it depends, as I said, it depends on your brand and the type of book, because I know persons who, for instance, they have more educational books. And for instance, educational books, you're not necessarily marketing, well, some of them. Some educational books, I can give one reference, Minister Welsh. That's a family friend of, our family. She created an educational book. It's a book that would be on the curriculum for schools. Her marketing for her book is going to, teachers and school administrators and saying, hey, this is a book regarding, vocabulary and syllabus, and I think it is great. So you have to have a book pitch first of all. That's something that we did when we were in the course. We created a book pitch. So your book, what is your book? How does it benefit the end user? What are the expected outcomes from the book, etc., etc. What is the tonality of your book? The whole works. So depending on the type of book you have, for instance, that educational book, I wouldn't necessarily be telling her to, focus on posting a lot of content on social media. We would include it, but the greater push would be getting into offices with administrators, school officials, Ministry of Education, in order to get that book into the school curriculum, first of all, and then into every class as a primary book, speaking with principals to say, hey, this is the preferred book to be on your book list for this school year because we think it would be a better help given XYZ and how it is that your school is progressing now, ABC, right? So it depends on the type of book. If it is that you need more help, we can go over what it is that your book is, and then do a breakdown as to what would be your strategy given your type of book. Are you gonna focus more customer centric, or are we looking to promote to educators if it is that it was an educational book? For instance, for my book, Freelance Superstars, because I want to answer the second question, I am looking to get into schools. So something that I have to create is a speaker kit to show what the benefits are, because I now need to go to guidance counselors and different school administrators to say, career day is coming up. I think this is a great new career option to introduce to your students. So this is who I am. This is what I have to offer. This is the book, and this is how I think it could benefit your school body, etc. So that is what my marketing strategy is currently, because remember, I newly launched the book. I work on a lot of stuff, so I'm still actively promoting and instituting the various marketing strategies for my book. So, you're gonna find where your marketing is gonna evolve with time, because there are a lot of things that I can do with my book, but I also have to remember that it's one step at a time. You're not gonna do everything all at once. One step at a time. Don't be too hard on yourself. I think sometimes we want to do everything one time to the point where we get overwhelmed and we just say forget about it. Create a plan. Look at the steps. Take it one step at a time. You will get there. Your book is there for a lifetime. You just have to be intentional about how it is that you execute the various steps in your marketing plan to get to your end goal.
Excellent. We're just going to take about 3 more questions to wrap up this segment, because we're now at the 90-minute mark and we have about 15 more minutes before we wrap up. One of the things, Damarli, that hasn't been touched, we have a question on this. Let me bring it up. I think it's this one. How much weight should be given to the element in terms of balancing authenticity with reader concentration? So don't answer that yet. It's on the screen. But in terms of platforms, how many social media platforms do you encourage people to be on? Do you need to be on all of them? Can you expound on that a little?
You don't need to be on all of them. For instance, if I'm doing, and this is why I say it's really important to know your genre and your niche, because your genre and your niche will, give you a better idea into what you need to zone in on. Because if I'm doing a career book, like freelance superstars or an educational book, I'm literally going heavy on LinkedIn, right? And I'm also, mentioning it on Instagram because, outside of that, outside of reaching out to schools, which is a big part of my plan, regular persons who want to take this on as a career option, I want them to know about the book. So I also I'm incorporating TikTok as well as Instagram in my mix, right? And that's because I'm not really a Facebook fan, even though Facebook is a great option because of the Facebook groups. Yes, for older persons. And a lot of older persons are in their retired stage where they don't really want to retire. They want to, still be able to work, and freelancing is an option for them. And they are readily, more willing to invest in something like this. So look at your platform when you're thinking about look at your type of book when you're looking at which platform to go heavily on. You can be on one platform and succeed. It's just based on the amount of work that you put in. How are you showing up every day with your book? Are you reaching out to persons, right? Because outside of showing up, remember, not everybody sees your content. So who are you reaching out to? Are you going out and promoting your book? Because outside of social media, offline promotion is also another good way to reconnect with people online. And then those persons will share, your content with other persons online, and it creates kind of like a domino effect. So it's a number of elements working together, but the biggest thing you have to consider is your genre, because for persons who are doing poetry and like romance, TikTok and Instagram. Yeah, TikTok and Instagram.
All right, let's answer this final question. How do you balance the authenticity of your story or testimony with reader consideration? That's a big one.
It's a big one because when I was writing my book, right, there is an element when you are publishing that is called, there's an element of publishing where you have to get a beta reader, right? I wrote my story in a very authentic way that was real to me. And when my beta reader went through it, she said that there were a lot of good things, right? But she was like, this section, please elaborate on it. I would love to know more. I think other persons would like to know more. Can you include this in this segment? Because I think persons would want to be able to, benefit from this. And then I had things that I would mention only briefly, and she's like, no, turn this into an entire chapter, because this paragraph isn't enough for this. And I had several beta readers because, you have one beta reader, and then, I liked having a second opinion to see where, all the chips fell. So that's where I believe the element of reader consideration came in, because my end result book was better for having considered what the reader may have wanted and included it. I was still being authentic to my story at the end of the day, but her outlook on the book and what, as a reader, she would have expected and he would have expected to see coming out of the book to get more of a fulsome reading experience for them as an end user, some of those elements were missing. And then when I went back, I was like, but I know this information. I was just thinking that, it probably wasn't necessary. So I went back and I authentically added in my references and my experience, into the book. And it made it so much better, because when I read it back over, I was like, I almost missed out this opportunity to add this. And I mean,
so get feedback.
It makes sense.
So get feedback from others.
Yes, get feedback, because I don't think it's so much of a balancing act per se, but just take into consideration what your your reader, your end
It's
reader
about
would
you, but the
want
book is for somebody
for
else as well. So
exactly
you have
their
to
benefits.
balance it.
So
All
you
right.
write it, but somebody else is benefiting from it. So incorporate what would be great for them.
Final one. I thought you would have, maybe because my question had so many comments and everything, but it's come back again from this from Leon, and I think this is where now you need to sell yourself in terms of one of the reasons why Bamboo Sparks exist, for example, is that it's not that sometimes you don't have the marketing skills, like what you do for Reverend Dunbar. She has the expertise and the knowledge. She don't want to take on video creation and stuff like that, so she has hired you. And so this question here, that's saying that once you're completed, once you finish the book and you've gotten an editor, you don't want to see it again. That's true. For persons who are like you, you have to pay, you have to hire somebody to do it. So like I go back, I can braid my hair, but I could do other things with my time. And I may not like it, but there are persons who are passionate about it. So you either pay them to do it, you're going to have to pay to get it done, or you get the things done yourself. So Damarli, for persons, older folks, or those who they don't understand the social media world, or they just don't want to take on the marketing, are you able to help them? Or is it just mainly Bishop and you're running that, so you're not taking any other client? Talk to us. How do we get in touch with you?
No. We are available. If it is that you're looking to publish, we are here to help you to publish. And if it is that you need help with marketing, because a big part of your publishing is how it is that you market your book during the process, building up the excitement for the book, as well as post publication as well, to keep the momentum going. So we are able to assist you with that. You can reach out to us. We have a couple of email addresses on the lower third of the screen. So you can reach out to cdmipublishing@gmail.com, or you can reach out to freelance superstars with an S academy @gmail.com, and we can assist you with setting up a marketing strategy, executing that marketing strategy based on your book, right? Your genre of book, what your book is about, your personality as well, because remember that your book is true to you and you are a part of your book's package, right? So we help you to navigate that awkward space of publishing, marketing, and as I said, other post-publication services. So we are here to help. We are available. You can reach out to us regarding your requests, because different levels of need would require a different pricing. Because if it is that you only just need us to be a beta reader for you, that would be a different price from us editing your book, because we also do that. And then marketing now, and building your branding and amplifying your social media presence, that is something that we also offer as a separate service. So we're here to help. You can visit the website, or you can send us an email, and we are here to help. We have a consultation option for persons who require publication services, whether it is that you need the entire publication service, which means you need us to help you from start, ideation of your book, to publication, finish, and marketing, which is beyond. Or you just need us to help you with an element, which would be probably just editing or proofreading, or just being a beta reader. We offer it all. We're here to assist. We have experience, top class experience, and we're able to, give that, experience package, all of that knowledge and expertise as a service to you. because everybody is able to benefit from social media at the end of the day. The world is so wide, vast, and huge, and the opportunities are there. So it can't just be for us alone. Can't just be for us alone.
Thank you so much, Damarli. Give it up, drop some heart and some fire in the chat. Woohoo! I'm so proud of Damarli. I'm glad that I was able to assist. So I'm going to remove her from the stage. We're going to show the different books. Remember, again, the presenters are doing this for free. So please go out and support their products. At minimum, buy the book. And if you don't want it, gift it to somebody to show some love and appreciation for the time that they've taken to share. And Damarli has just done an excellent presentation. For a free summit, what we give away here is just awesome. And we need you to be like Damarli to take action. Don't just come to the summit and grab the information because it's free. Take action once you leave here. Thank you, Damarli. You've done fabulous.
They can look out for our next publication, which is Change the Journey Continues, and that comes out in March 2023. That's Bishop's autobiography continued. So yes, she just posted it. Yes, look out for that.
Yes. All right, bless you. All right, so in terms of the main presentations for the summit, we're done. So what's next? What action do you need to take? I'm going to let Damarli speak on this based on her experience and what she did after the summit, so you know what the next step is. And here we go.
Summits and the academy, if it is that you're very serious and you want that push, because this is your push, right? If you're serious and you want that push, the knowledge that you will learn at the summit, it can be a starting point, but the push that you will need to finish definitely is in the academy. So, I mean, the summit just whets your appetite. You can do a lot. You can start off there. You can get to stage 2, which is like getting your beta reader and then fine-tuning your manuscript from that. And then having a strategy of how it is that you're going to market afterwards from the summit. But when it is, getting to that finish line, definitely that handheld process from the academy is going to be a big, big, big advantage to you to get you over that hurdle that takes you to the finish line. So I would recommend anybody who is serious about getting their book out in 3 to 6 months, definitely join the summit and follow up with the academy.
Right after the summit, and she talked to you about the academy. What's the academy? The Authorpreneur Secrets Academy is an education platform that helps you to learn to self-publish, to publish cost effectively. It does exactly what this book says. Write fast, publish cost effectively, and generate lasting income. Within the academy, there is coaching, consultancy, and most importantly, there is a membership group that I have that I take in. Publishing is expensive. So any of these services that we promoted here tonight, you're going to pay anywhere from $1,000 US up to $3,500, depending on the size of your book to publish. That's the average cost if you're using a professional publishing service and you are not doing everything yourself. So what I do, because I went into great debt for my first book and I had to find a way to learn to publish cost effectively, I learned 7 secrets to publish cost effectively, and I've created a free course. Over 2,000 students have taken that course to teach you how to publish on a budget. And then I take that a step further. Each year I have a group, a small cohort, that we guide you on the publishing process, and we challenge you to publish for less than $1,000 US. I come into the group once per month to do a masterclass on publishing, answer your questions, and then we recommend affordable freelancers to work on the editing, the formatting, and everything that is required to get the book done. You have a coach that you will meet with twice per month, and email who will walk with you on the journey. That's what Damarli did. That's what Bishop Dunbar did last year, and they ended up publishing 3 books in the program. Now, the sooner you publish, the less you have to pay. It's $99 per month, right? So if you only spent 3 months, you would have only paid almost $300, and then you have another $700 to play with in terms of the services. So we can show you how to spend. We say the publishing on a budget course talks about like a budget for $500, and we give you the secrets. Now with AI and different tools, some of your editing can cut down. Like Damarli, if you don't want to pay for developmental edit, get beta readers. So those are some of the secrets, but a big part of it is that many times persons don't understand the publishing process. And yes, they have the book and they can just throw it up on Amazon, but the quality is not good. And so we built this community where if you started writing and not finished, within the first 30 days, we say finish. We have tutorials on writing coming from the book. The first part of the book teaches you how to write fast, right? Then the second part of this book teaches you how to publish on a budget. And the third part is how to generate lasting income. What are you going to create from the book? Use the book to do, in addition to selling it, that you can recover your expenses. Tomorrow is the closing day to sign up. So you can go to the authorpreneursecrets.com page /ASAM and register. You can unsubscribe at any time. You heard Damarli. Damarli did the program, 3 books, not just 1, but 3 books. And if we were to ask them the cost, they did not spend $2,000 on those 3 books. And so the program works. We meet monthly on Zoom. The first masterclass starts next week, Wednesday, and thereafter the last Wednesday of each month. So you can publish in 3 to 6 months. And there's accountability. We have sessions where you pitch your book, you share your book description, the cover, and all of those things, who you think your audience is. And then the members of the community will give you marketing tips and promotion, ways to sell your book. This is like a giveaway. It's my way of giving back. So you heard that Bamboo Sparks is offering for the first time 2 publishing prizes where you can get a deal. Bamboo Sparks doesn't have to do that, but a part of, giving back and helping, because you always have some persons who struggle. So 18 to 25, if you send your manuscripts, that's another opportunity to get a $3,000 publishing deal. There are some conditions that apply. 50 and over, because we're all about legacy. You send in your manuscripts, you have a whole month to apply. But here in ASA is another opportunity whereby you can do this. And do the math. If you spend $1,000 to publish, we show you also how you can print the book, print on demand, that people can pre-order and pay for the print copies without you spending your money. You only need to sell about 100 books to recover that cost, and make money. So if your book is priced at $20 and you sell 100 copies, that is $2,000 US. If you sell it directly, and then if you spend less than $1,000, you still have $1,000 to play. So even if you had printed 100 books, maybe that's $500, and you have $500 profit. And we talk about small books to make it work. So I'm saying, join the academy. It works. The deadline is Sunday at midnight. If not, you have to wait another year. Anne-Marie published her book too, so she joined the academy in 2023, and it was helpful. She said it was worth every cent and more, and she recommends it unreservedly. And so that's one of the things that's next. All right. So if you don't want to seize that opportunity, you want to self-publish, as I said, there's a course that we have, a free course on how to publish a book. Next step, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I have a lot of videos on the YouTube channel. There's a whole 10 videos there that teach you how to publish on a budget. So Publishing Secrets Masterclass, do that. There is a free course if you go to the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy, authorpreneursecrets.com. Right there on the front page, you can access a free masterclass. I remember doing a presentation on this, and somebody just gave me a love gift of $300 to do a 20-minute presentation on how to write a book in 24 hours or 30 days. She wasn't paying me. She said it's worth much more than that. And I have included that presentation in this course, and you're getting it for free. So you have no excuse. You can buy this for $9.99, or you can get it for $35. Or you can go and get that free course. So if you haven't started writing, that's there. For all the publishing services providers that we mentioned, Heart Publishers, CDMI, they offer a free consultation session, so you can go there and get that. If it's about marketing and you're concerned about Amazon and you want to sell more books and get Publisher Rocket, go to kindlepreneur.com and look at all the articles that Dave has, and you will see you will get help. So there's a lot of free help. And if you have the budget and the money and you want to try the salon approach, you can take a digital publishing package either from Bamboo Sparks, Heart Publishers, or CDMI Publishing. And so you have no excuse. And then there is a basic entry point in terms of marketing. You want to learn some more. If you haven't sold your first 1,000 copies, remember there's a marketing course for $99 with experts in there that you can do. It's by the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy. It's only $99. It again teaches you the fundamentals of marketing, some stuff that were not even shared here today. How do you get booked on podcasts? How do you turn your book into a bestseller? What promotional sites can I use? Because there are some sites that you can pay to promote your book as low as $20, sometimes free. So there is a lot of help. In terms of like even videos, here's an example of what Rev does. You can do short teachings on Instagram, a 1-minute clip to teach something, share something, and that can help to build your community. So let me show that, for example, an example of what you can do. We're talking about taking action. What's next? You can create little snippets from your book to share. Look at this.
Environment can do for you. Home is the area of your responsibility. So it's your high stress environment. Do you know what you can do for him to step away from it for one night? Come on, guys. That's what I'm saying. Yeah? Self-care. Get some exercise. Set some realistic expectations as to what you can do. You understand? Don't offload everything on the children, them and some. Give them age-appropriate chores as well. Teach them responsibility.
So that's what Damarli was talking about in terms of these short clips. And like I said, partner with us and get it done. But take action. Do not leave the summit and do nothing. Take action. Seize the deals. Take the courses. Recommend these companies. And remember, if you need more information on publishing, Bamboo Sparks is going to have their Publishing Expo in Jamaica on the first Saturday in April. And it's just 6,000 Jamaican dollars That's what? Less than $60. Maybe you want to fly down for it, because we're going to take you from manuscript to market. Your story, our mission. You're going to get consultation. If you're looking for editors, vetted editors, video creators, website developers, we're going to have these persons showcase what they're doing, and you can set up a booth and all of those things. So those are some of the things coming up. I really want to thank our sponsors and all our presenters for taking the time to give back to the community. And I want to encourage you, at minimum, to show some love, get our books, even purchase one. And to remind you of what the books are, let me just run this short video of all the books that have been featured on the summit.
Your book is the perfect spark to get the fire going in your personal life, career, business, or ministry. Light that book spark today. Your book is the perfect spark to get the fire going in your personal life, career, business, or ministry. Light that book spark today.
And then finally from CDMI, there's an event that is coming up. And so I want to run this promotion again. And then we are going to close. And that's the end of the summit for 2025.
At CDMI Publishing, we strike the perfect balance between professional services, like a traditional publisher, and the accessibility of self-publishing. We believe that a book leaves a lasting legacy, and we are passionate about equipping you with the tools you need to create an impactful, reader-focused masterpiece. Whether you're an aspiring author or a seasoned storyteller, CDMI Publishing is your trusted partner in bringing your vision to life. Let us help you write your legacy one page at a time. This Valentine's Day, give the gift of wisdom or a legacy of love. Surprise your special someone with one of these timeless treasures. Wisdom Keys for Families. Discover a godly living guidebook for faith-driven families. From conflict resolution to financial stewardship, Bishop Dr. Carla Dunbar's transformative insights help you to anchor your family in enduring strength and peace. Sexscription, the prescription for sex, a groundbreaking guide to rediscover intimacy and passion in your marriage, backed by biblical wisdom. The Couple's Journal, or Love Legacy. Document your love story with soulful prompts and cherished reflections. A keepsake to nurture your bond for generations. Celebrate love this Valentine's Day. Grab your copies today and make this season unforgettable.
All right. And finally, for those of you who are on the mailing list who registered for the summit, on Monday, because tomorrow is a little rest day, and also give me time to collect the information from some of the speakers, I'll be sending out a summit toolkit with some notes, some tools, some of the PowerPoint. For example, Raquel has made her PowerPoint available. So that on email marketing, that will be in the kit. If Damarli is going to make her PowerPoint available, that will be in the kit as well. And there's some general marketing principles and tips taken. We're going to put some highlights together and send that to you. And if you want to be in touch with the speakers, maybe to invite them to your own event, we're going to have a speaker profile of each of the speaker and include their contact details. And finally, the summit page, you can always go back to the summit page and rewatch and the videos and find out more about the speakers. The page is not going to disappear until next year's summit. So authorpreneursecrets.com/summit. I'm going to show you that. that page is there. So if somebody missed the summit, you can take them there, or just simply tell them to go to YouTube and rewatch or watch the videos. So that is there for you guys. So that's what's next. So this is what the page look like. This was where you can, it's not too late to register, because it's just to get on our mailing list so that you can stay up to date, because I do regular teachings on entrepreneurship, and I feed my community. So you can view all the speakers and their profiles in one place. You can see what took place each session. There's a link that says watch on YouTube for each session. There is a button that says more info that will take you to their website or their resources. So you can still go to the summit page to rewatch, to learn more about the speakers. The page will be there. You can also go to the summit page to sign up for the Authorpreneur Secrets Academy. Of course, we close at midnight tomorrow night. So if you don't get in, you have to wait until next year, or you go to one of the publishing services providers and bring your money. Because if you know you can sell 200 and 1,000 books quickly, go pay your money. You're going to make it back. And you have up to 70 or 95 years to make money off your book. So if you have the money, go spend the money. It's an investment. The possibilities are endless. The doors that will be open. You can't pay for what a book will do for you. So if you just invest $1,000, $2,000, or even $3,000, compare it. If you do the math around that, sell 500 or even $1,000, 1,000 books, you make that back in no time. So a book is a worthy investment. I want us to build legacies, transform lives with our books, create sustainable income. And remember, Ecclesiastes 12:12b says, of making many books, there is no end. So go pen it to win it and dominate entrepreneurship. Make the shift. God bless you. Take care. Thanks for coming, everybody. Bye.